and their wings touched each other in the middle of the room. Also he overlaid the cherubim with gold. Then he carved all the walls of the temple all around, both the inner and outer sanctuaries, and carved figures of cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers. And the floor of the temple he overlaid with gold, both the inner and outer sanctuaries.
Now remember I said there was 3 sections. Remember the outer courtyard, the inner, and then the Holy of Holies. So the Holy of Holies and the inner sanctuary, he overlaid everything with gold, and he carved the walls all with palm trees and cherubims and something else.
Flowers.
Okay. He spent a lot of time and effort and energy and money making this a beautiful and perfect place for God. That was the whole point. Okay?
I can't think of anything, there's nothing that comes to mind that I know of that would even come close to the beauty of this.
Right. No, I agree.
I see pictures and places of beautiful buildings and like Fox Theater. You ever been to Fox Theater in St. Louis?
I have not.
Of all groups, I took my daughter to see the Monkees.
Cool.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
the monkeys.
I did too. And then here this 8-year-old fell in love with them years later, and it was funny, they came out with walkers and canes and threw them off to the sides, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I sat in that theater and I thought, oh my goodness, a lot of, looked like gold, stuff everywhere. And that was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And I was thinking about that, and I'm reading this, and man, there ain't nothing. Absolutely, there's,
Well, that was the whole point.
yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense, but
I mean, if you
I
would,
did fall off the turnip truck a couple times.
well, I mean, if you were going to build God's house, how would you do that?
Oh, I would think I could never build something that would be worthy.
Right.
You want
Even all
nothing but the
this,
finest,
yeah.
purest.
And he's got every resource, every material at his fingertips. All he has to do is ask and he gets it. So he has no limits to what he can do. So he is pulling out everything. He built it, and then he covered it with the most expensive woods. Then he carved it to exquisite detail, and then he covered it with gold.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah. It's like even the most expensive woods or whatever, rare woods, and then you cover it with gold anyway. So,
Right.
well, you can't see it,
That's right.
but still.
Where are we at?
31.
Go ahead.
For the entrance of the inner sanctuary, he made doors of olive wood. The lintel and outdoor posts were 1/5 of the wall. The 2 doors were of olive wood, and he carved on them figures of cherubim,
Again,
palm
cherubim.
trees, and open flowers, and overlaid them with gold. And he spread gold on the cherubim and on the palm trees. So for the door of the sanctuary, he also made doorposts of olive wood, 1/4 of the wall. And the 2 doors were of cypress wood. 2 panels compressed one
Comprised.
folding door, and 2 panels compressed the other folding door. Then he carved cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers on them, and overlaid them with gold, applied evenly on the carved work. And he built the inner court with 3 rows of hewn stone and a row of cedar beams. In the 4th year, all that 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
in the 4th year, the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid in the mouth of Ziv. In the 11th year, in the month of Bull, or whatever that is, which is the 8th month, the house was finished in all its details and according to its plans. So he was 7 years in building it. Question.
Yes.
Why? We got January, February, March, and all that stuff. What? You ever wonder why we didn't continue those names, or?
Oh, the names of the,
months.
of those months apparently.
I think they changed it because and I don't remember exactly, but if memory serves me, each of their months had 30 days. And when we figured out the rotation of the sun and the seasons, they needed to make adjustments. So they came up with another calendar, and I don't remember the name of it, the one that we use today.
Okay.
So that it actually each year has 365 and a quarter days. That's why every 4 years we have a leap year.
Wasn't it called a Gregorian calendar?
Is that what it is? I don't remember the name. But I believe that's the reason.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Okay, so here's this magnificent, I can't even imagine even picturing something this beautiful. I mean, they have to be, so I guess maybe some of the wars and stuff was fighting over this stuff that's all in that temple? Or
Well,
did it really say how it got destroyed?
well, remember when the Queen of Sheba came, and I believe it was Solomon was showing off, as guys will do, and she left, and I think it was God says, well, what did you show her? And he said, I showed her everything. Well, guess what? When she saw everything, she sent her army back, conquered them, and took it all. So, yeah.
So then it
That's
just
why you
ended up
never
being
show
in the
one
rubble,
everything.
just all the rubble and all the stuff, I guess, all of the
Make sure she
gold,
wasn't
all
doing
of that
that.
stuff.
Yeah, if she's after the money, don't show her the money.
So that, wow.
But yeah, God made sure they had everything, and remember, David spent the last part of his life making sure,
But God would
All the
know
supplies were.
Yeah.
that that was gonna happen.
right? So what do you think the lesson there was?
Don't put all your money in one place. No, I'm just saying.
Don't brag.
Yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
brag about what you have. What you have is because God gave it to
give
you.
it to you. But then have God tell him specific on how to build this, and then people come right in and take it.
Yep,
And it had been all in God's plan.
it is. It is. Now, this temple is not tore down until after Jesus dies. This temple stands for a long time. Then they build it again, and it gets tore down again. Now, the third time it's built marks the beginning of the second coming of Christ. So there's a reason for all of it.
Yeah, not close.
And I have-
With the wars, it's like who's building.
But I have
it,
heard on
where
the
it's gonna
news
be
where they
built
said
at.
that they've got, actually in play.
Well,
Being
it
done.
depends on who you listen to and what they say. Like I said, 20 years ago, they had the land built, the material there, and they were waiting to build. And then 5 years ago, I heard they had the land built and the plans drawn, and that's all they had. So who knows?
Yeah, and it's like all the prevention, you know, the wars and different things are fighting over whose land and who's this and that.
Right.
And who gets to build that and don't want it to be built and,
The only thing we know for sure, it will be built and be in God's time.
Mm-hmm.
When he says, okay, go.
you know, be in the New Jerusalem.
Yep. Any other questions?
No, it's pretty interesting.
I'm glad I'm gonna be old and gone,
Well, let's hope so.
because I don't think I'll be here another 14 years.
Oh, you're my age. Shut up.
Yeah, but you're in better health.
Seriously? You don't want to have that conversation. All right, somebody else start. Let's do chapter 7. How am I doing on time, by the way? It's 8:40.
It's almost, it's 20 till 9.
Well, I feel like I'm on a roll. Let's go for a little while and we'll just stop in the middle. Go ahead, let's start chapter 7.
Somebody else wanna read?
Yep. Go ahead.
But Solomon took 13 years to build his own house, so he finished all his house. He also
Okay, so I always thought this was interesting.
Yeah, that's weird. 7 years to build the Lord's house, but 30 years to build his?
13.
Oh, 13, oh.
But still, almost twice as long to build his house. That always struck me as odd.
Why didn't he just take over King David's house?
Well, because
Yeah.
Solomon had to build a house that was, you know,
His.
all about him. It was bigger and better and huger and greater and golder.
Unless he just concentrated so much time on the Lord's house, he didn't have time to build his own
Sure,
house.
let's go with that. Go ahead.
He also built the house of the forest of Lebanon. Its length was 100
That's
cubits,
150 feet,
its width 50 cubits,
75 feet.
and its height 30 cubits,
That would be 45 feet.
with 4 rows of cedar pillars and cedar beams on the pillars. And it was paneled with cedar above the beams that were on 45 pillars, 15 to a row. There were windows with beveled frames in 3 rows.
Okay, now, does everybody know what beveled means?
That's it, up there.
Is it kind of
Hey,
like
yeah.
concave, they're not flat, it's,
Correct.
it's
Okay.
kind of curved.
Well, kids today don't know what beveled means. I didn't know if you all knew or not, but yeah, that's what beveled means. Go ahead.
And window was opposite window in 3 tiers. And all the doorways and doorposts had rectangular frames, and window was opposite window in 3 tiers. He also made the hall of pillars. Its length was 50 cubits,
75 feet,
and its width 30 cubits.
45 feet.
And in front of them was a portico with pillars, and a canopy was in front of them. Then he made a hall for the throne, the hall of judgment, where he might judge, and it was paneled with cedar from floor to ceiling.
Now see, that's interesting. He used the most expensive wood, but notice he didn't cover it with gold. He saved that for God's house.
You're smart thinking.
Probably didn't have any left for his own. And the house where he dwelt had another court inside the hall, of like workmanship. So Solomon also made a house like this hall for Pharaoh's daughter,
Who was his wife, by the way.
whom he had taken as wife.
Oh, there it is.
All these were of costly stones cut to size, trimmed with saws, inside and out, from the foundation to the eaves, and also on the outside to the great court. The foundation was of costly stones, large stones, some 10 cubits and some 8 cubits. And above were costly stones hewn to size and cedar wood. The great court was enclosed with 3 rows of hewn stones and a row of cedar beams. So were the inner court of the house of the Lord and the vestibule of the temple.
Now you know when you were reading that, what I was thinking, and I've never really thought this before. But remember when, in the book of the Revelation, when the old Jerusalem vanished and the new Jerusalem is built, there are 12 layers of stone. That's the foundation, and each one of them is a jewel. And I found it interesting. I haven't gone through, like I said, I never thought of that before now. But how many layers of hewn stone? Remember he said there was hewn stone and then there was expensive stone? I wonder if those add up to 12. Because when the New Jerusalem comes, that would be kind of comparing the house that Solomon built for himself to the land of the New Jerusalem. Interesting thought.
Now King Solomon sent and brought Hiram from Tyre. He was the son of a widow from the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, a bronze worker. He was filled with wisdom and understanding and skill in working with all kinds of bronze work. So he came to King Solomon and did all his work.
Well, see, there you go. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Remember when they were building the Ark of the Covenant, God said, go ask Bob and Joe because I've gifted them. Well, here he's got, what's this guy's name? Whatever it was, Alex.
Nepath.
Hiram, or
And he called him all the way from the country of Tyre because God gifted him, and it says he did all of his bronze work. Okay, somebody mark that for me because that's where we're going to leave off. Any questions before we close? All right, let's close in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for watching over and protecting us. Thank you for providing for our needs and our wants. Lord, you are an awesome God, and I pray that the word that was taught tonight was your word, and that your word would help us to become who we are becoming in you. Lord, you're an awesome God. We give you thanks and praise and glory and honor, and we do it all and pray it all in Jesus' name. And all God's children said? Amen.
Shannon asked me to ask you if you got the tape.
I do.